went away briefly. The hill start was probably the best today, so shouldn't have any more things to worry about. Right, welcome everybody to Sipwell, situated in Penrhyn Quarry, the oldest and the biggest slate quarry in the world. It's in the village of Bethesda, and Bethesda's in the county of Gwynedd, and we're just on the border of the Snowdonia National Park here. So, the biggest man-made hole in the world we've just got past on the Sipwell, and it used to be a mile long and 1,200 feet deep.
Holy shit!
It was overtaken in the 50s by an excavation in Mexico, and now it's not it's a very small excavation today due to the massive exploration of materials in Africa, Australia and all over the world. But nobody's got that beautiful blue coloured water that we have in the bottom, and a place like this to make sure you could easily think you're in the Caribbean. So like we said, this is Penrhyn Quarry, and we know that the first people came to get slate from the mountain and happened around about the end of the 1500s. And they would come into the mountain with what tools they had, and they would take the slate home to their little farms or properties that were dotted around the area then. There was no village of Bethesda in them days, and they would take the slate home to put a perimeter fencing around their houses and farms. It's split quite easily, both ways really with the veins that's in the slate, and people used to take it home as well to build pens for their animals. When I bought my house in 1968 here in Bethesda, after 2 years of clearing the garden, I found at the top a couple of pigsties. And after I cleaned them out, they would easily have kept up a couple of pigs. It wasn't popular in that days in 1968, but years and years and years ago, every house used to have a large garden, and they used to grow vegetables to live on, and they would keep 2 pigs at the top of the garden, probably keep chickens as well, and the 2 pigs, one would be sold at Christmas to feed the family, and the other one would be sold off to pay the rates. So there were no big collections or anything that day, so all the food that was wasted, or I don't think there would be much food wasted in them days, but the pig would have had everything. So the mountain was bought by Douglas Pennant's family around about 1725 with the intentions of making a roofing product, the slate, and the first thing they had to do was build a road down to Bangor so the slates could go away by sailing ships from Penrhyn Harbour, which is just in Bangor, 5 miles away. So as the quarry developed over the years, and the production of slates went up, the old horses, they used to carry them down the road to Bangor. It couldn't carry very many, and he called an engineer up from London who built the East India Docks in London and said he wanted a canal up from the Menai Straits to Bethesda. They didn't build one. It would have been a nice tourist attraction today, I suppose, but what he did tell them to do was build put some rails down on a track, found the route, a narrow gauge railway. They made some specially made carts for the horses to pull, and they were able to take 6 tons of slates in one go with the horses then. And when steam became popular on the norm in the UK, there were steam trains taking their slates down to Bangor. And one of the steam trains today is carrying tourists from Kilmarnock up to Festiniog on the narrow gauge railway there. The name of the train is Blanche, and Blanche was one of the granddaughters of Douglas Penrhyn. So, to the 1800s, the quarry was well established by now, and one thing that this family did devise, bring into the industry, was the gallery system. And because of the gallery system, they can work a large number of men, maybe up to 100 men on every gallery. There would have been 15 galleries in all, and they would blast slates out of the mountain with what tools they had, and black powder, and they would at same time every day you would hear the horn on the bugle in them days, and there was an all clear. It was for everybody to go to cover, and then they would have the blast, and there would be an all clear sign after that. The slates would then fall onto the gallery floors below, where they set on the big lumps of slate with their chisels and crowbars and hammers, and they would make them smaller and liftable, which they put into carriages to get up to the sheds at the top.
That's what the world's deadliest road.
Now, probably the sheds were on about 700 foot, and the way they got them up to the sheds was that they had two water balances.
They stick the truck on the
with tunnels underneath, shafts underneath, sorry, and tunnels in at every gallery. They would push the slate into the shaft, fill the tank at the top with water until it got heavier than what was in the bottom, and they would come to the top, to the sheds quite easily, where they were taken then and split and dressed into the different slices of slates that they had. We're just coming under the wire here for the first time, under the zip wire. Those on the right hand side can see where they're going, and those on the left hand side can see where they're coming from. So there you go, that's what's in front of you. In about 10 minutes, the last group would have all gone down by now. So the slates was trimmed into about 8 or 9 different sizes, and they all have different names, different ladies' titles, like Marchioness, Princess, Lady, Duchess. And if you ask the quarrymen today, if you see them in their orange toilets down the bottom there, what a princess would be, they would tell you it would be a 24 by 12 piece of slate. And one of them told me today, there wouldn't be many of them today. They tend to get smaller slates now, like 2012s, because of the quality of slate they're taking from the mountain. So it's a hard life for the quarrymen, and the profits in the quarry were vast. There was a £100,000 profit made in about 1850, and that went up to about £175,000 profit in a year, which was vast in them days. And I asked somebody on the back of the wagon if they could tell me how much that would be today, and somebody said it would be about 50 million. So life was hard for the quarrymen. They barely made a living, some of them, and if they didn't produce slate, they wouldn't get paid. It was all on price work, and by the end of the 1800s, the quarrymen had had enough of the working conditions, and the bosses wanted to change the working conditions again. They had a strike in about 1897 for about 10 months. They came back to work, and they came back on empty promises, and 1900 they went on the longest strike in trade union history. The Douglas Penrhyn family were against trade unions, and they stopped the quarrymen collecting their union dues in the quarry here, and it became very, very hard for the men to become members of the union, but they decided to go on strike in 1900, The strike was the longest one, like I said, it was 3 years long. And around about 12 months into the strike, they opened the gates again and offered the quarrymen a sovereign if they came back to work, and the promise of a 5% extra. 700 men returned to work, and that split Leicester in half. It split the town in half, and it put brother against brother, it put father against son, and some families in Leicester still can speak to other families in the village up to today. So that's how deep the strike and what it meant to the people of Leicester. So there are 200 people working in the quarry today. It's a decent little job today. It's wages are quite good, and it is the biggest employer in the village. So I hope you enjoyed your trip up with us, and I really hope you enjoy your trip down to the bottom. So thank you very much.